Hi guys, I'm Ryan Newsman and welcome to my fly tying channel. If you haven't already done so, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. That'll keep you up to date with everything as I upload it. My channel already contains hundreds of videos covering a wide range of both patterns and techniques, from the basic to the more advanced. So without delay, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, I'm going to tie a fly I've been requested to tie, which is a German Friggi. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. As far as I know, Friggis are invented by a guy called Baldur Hermannsson from Iceland. And they create like a V-type wing, which is unusual but would also create a different type of movement, I suppose, to a fly than what we're used to. These apparently have been doing the business in Iceland and now are sort of spreading all over the world, so hopefully we'll do it justice here. If you're interested in them, there is a Facebook site for the Friggi fly, and you can go on there and see the different patterns, etc. that they have, and I think they also sell them. So I have here a tube, so I have a standard tube, clear 3.2, and a black inner to it, although as I said, this is a style of fly, so you can use whatever colours suit yourself. So flies tend to have sort of like a synthetic dub body that is complementary to the colour of the wing. So here I'm using a peacock Angelina and I'm mixing it with a black Angelina fibre. I'm going to take a small bunch to start off with, and I'm going to create like a dubbing ball or dam at the back. My thread colour doesn't really matter for this, I'm just using a strong thread. And then I'm going to add my ribbing. So this is going to be a silver rib, and it's also a fairly heavy type of rib. And I think if you start your ribbing right at the back, sometimes you can have difficulty getting it over the start of the dubbing, so I think this is the plan behind starting the dubbing with a little ball first. So then we'll dub the rest of the body. It may take a couple of goes to do this, so we'll make a dubbing rope, catch a little bit of it, and then cover the body with this black synthetic dubbing mix. Stop when we get to the front. So the V-type wings on these here are made up of Icelandic runner, so Icelandic horsehair. So there'll be like one top, one bottom, and as this one is the German Friggi, it is done in the colours of the German flag, so red, black, and then we'll have yellow in it as well. So we're going to tie in two strips. One top, one bottom, one black, one red. I measure these that they're the same length. I'll flip this so that I can tie it in direct on top. So essentially it's like a double zonker, I suppose. And then what we'll do is we will take the ribbing up through this. So I'm going to take a turn of ribbing to get us started. And this is going to be fairly fiddly. what I would suggest you do is probably to wet the hair, same as if I was tying a standard chunker. So wet it with zip, with spit, and then you can sort of stroke it up to the sides. And what we're going to do is try and catch the skin as we go along. So I'm going to stretch that back so that it's nice and tight along the shank. Make a gap. Fiddle that into it. Then we're going to travel along the shank. Just separate out the hair to the point where your rib is going to go, which is easier said than done. Get a good pull into it. Travel along, just takes a little bit of getting used to that. And once we get to the front with our ribbon, I'm going to tie it off. Just going to go back and check that nothing is tied down in a way that I don't want it to be. So I'll just slide these fibres up out of the ribbon if it's catching them down. And then I need to super glue the tie offs of this. I'll take my super glue brush and just secure that. And then to finish the fly, what we're going to do is put on a yellow sort of collar hackle. So you can use hen if you want, or you can use cock hackle, depends how much how stiff you want it. I suppose the idea with the cock hackle being much stiffer, some of the flies I've seen have been very perpendicular in their hackles, and I suppose that gives you more play. It's something to catch water. So I'm going to double a cock feather here, and I've chosen one that has a transition into from very spiky cock type fibres into a more webby base, and that's just for my own interest, because I think it'll conform better, make the end result a bit neater with the softer front to it, while still using the stiffness of the cock fibres at the back. So I have videos on doubling hackles. If you look up for there should be a little info button up in the corner. I'll try and add a link up there to a playlist of techniques, and you should find doubling a hackle in there, and also how to wind hackles. So if you notice, what I'm doing here is my fingers get in the road a lot because I'm using them to fold back fibres as we go, change the direction of the stalk to achieve a neat result. So tied across the stalk, we're going to fold it back and tie over it, and that is the tying done on this fly. So we'll now trim off that stalk and trim off the tying thread. So depending on your regulations, you know, some places don't allow for sinking flies as such, or heavily weighted flies, so they don't allow for cones and that. So if that's the sort of place that you're fishing, you could then finish this off as it is. But what we're going to do is put on a silver cone onto the front of this one. So I'm going to take super glue and to glue the head part here, and that will, while that's wet, then I want to take my cone and slide it back into that. And that will now set in place, and that is our fly tied. So what we need to do is to flame the end of it. So a little torch, take the fly off the vise. I'm going to cut this off and leave a mil, 2 mil or so of it, and then I'll just touch the end of it. Push a needle into it just to make sure it's patent, and that is our German Friggi or Friggi, or however it's pronounced. As you can see, it has this unusual V shape to it, and that will play with the current and make the fly more enticing to salmon, I suppose. So, like I said, fly tied. If you want to know more about it, look up the Friggi fly and the Friggi fly site, which is on Facebook, and the guys that invented it will have more information on it there. But if you like what I've done, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, and until next time, tight lines and thanks for watching.